Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
Did you think she'd be found alive?
I didn't think so, but I had hope.
Emotional testimony today from the parents of Savannah Greywind. William Haines is charged with conspiring to murder Savannah.
His girlfriend, Brooke Cruz, has already admitted to killing Savannah as serving a life sentence. Norberta Greywind told jurors this afternoon that she knew something was wrong from the very beginning. And Joe Greywind reflected on eerie times when he talked with Cruz and Haines in the days after Savannah went missing.
He came up to me, shook my hand. He said, "I'm sorry for what happened to your daughter." I looked at him and I asked him, "What happened to my daughter?" He said he didn't know. I asked her if I could go in and look, see if my daughter's in there. And I said, I know you're a parent. I seen your kids here. I said, I'm a parent. I want to know if my daughter is in there. I said, from parent to parent, can I look in your house? And she said, I don't feel comfortable with you in my house.
In opening arguments today, the prosecution said that Haines, quote, rolled up his sleeves and put a rope around Savannah's neck when Brooke Cruz asked for help getting Savannah's unborn child out of her body. Defense attorney Dan Borgen said that Haines was in love with Cruz and wanted to cover for her. But he also said that Haines ultimately did not help plan to murder Greywind. Testimony resumes tomorrow morning at 9. You can get live updates from the Haines trial on our website by going to valleynewslive.com.
Multiple women in Bemidji have reported creepy situations where they were approached by a couple asking if they want to model out of state. The first report came in this past Sunday. A woman says she was in a parking lot when a man and woman came up and asked her to model. 2 more similar reports were filed in the days late after. Police are now looking to identify that couple. They've also been in St. Louis and Carleton counties, and they're driving a 2008 beige Chevy Tahoe. It has Idaho plates. K664960. Anyone with information is urged to call police.
You might want to set aside a jacket and an umbrella tonight. Sounds like parts of the viewing area might be getting wet tomorrow at some point. Let's check in with Hutch for an early look at tonight's forecast. Hutch?
Thank you, you guys. It's a very quiet evening, but tomorrow shaping up to be quite a wet day across much of the region. The rain looks like it will be pushing in fairly early in the day as well. Right now, very heavy rain in northern parts of Iowa, southern Minnesota, and eastern South Dakota. This is all going to be pushing northward as we go through the overnight hours. We'll see an increase in clouds. Temperatures will be coolest up north, where we'll be near 40 degrees. Elsewhere in the 50s down south, with the best chance of morning showers along the South Dakota border. And again, this will continue to progress northward throughout the day. Many of us getting measurable rainfall. In fact, some over an inch. I'll have details an hour-by-hour style coming up here in a bit about when the rain reaches your backyard. And we'll talk about the weekend outlook as well.
All right. Thanks, Hutch.
School is considered a full-time job. However, many students often add to their schedules by getting a part-time or even full-time job.
Valley News Team's Katie Opperly asks what kind of impact that can have on students.
Juggling schoolwork is one thing.
Time management is crucial.
Adding a job on top of school can seem impossible.
And there's definitely, stressful moments when you have to work one day and you have 2 tests the next. That can at times be stressful.
But many students are taking on the responsibility of this challenging schedule. Kelsey Purdue is just one student that has set out on this task, and she says the benefits are setting her up for success.
You're able to develop a lot of skills, and it's preparing you for ultimately the workforce.
And putting in the extra effort could be what sets you apart from others.
Employers, I think, are happy to see people that have not only been working hard and excelling in their studies, but also have been out there gaining experience in different fields.
Allison Goosens with the North Dakota State Career Center says it's recommended that students consider picking up a job.
Even if they're only working 5 to 10 hours a week, because building those skills and balancing job and academics builds a lot of character and a lot of those soft skills that sometimes they miss if they're just solely focused on their academics.
But having a job with a flexible schedule is crucial to find balance.
We always encourage students to work on campus because employers on campus understand the student schedule already, so they're pretty lenient with hours. Flexibility is pretty easy.
She says every student is different, but the important part is using time management and not taking on too much where it begins to impact other aspects of life. In Fargo, Katie Opperly, Valley News Live.
The Career Center has a job board where students can find the perfect fit, as well as workshops to help better manage time.
We don't know what weapon was used in the killing of Daniel Fuller, but we did find out that officers with the Devils Lake Police Department are issued a .40 caliber Glock. Detective Brandon Potts said his gun discharged accidentally, killing Fuller on the spot. Valley News Live looked into how likely an accidental discharge would be with a Glock.
They have a few different safety mechanisms to mitigate chances of the firearm discharging. One of them is the trigger bar and the safety. The other is that the way that a Glock acts is it actually cocks the firing pin, the striker, as you pull the trigger.
Detective Potts is still on paid administrative leave. Stick with Valley News Live on this ongoing investigation.
Authorities in Bemidji are warning of a level 3 sex offender moving to the city. 28-year-old Tadashi Anderson engaged in sexual contact with a 14-year-old girl multiple times. Anderson gained access to the victim by meeting her online and then in person. Anderson also has a history of watching child porn and sexual contact with 2 young boys ages 5 and 8. He's now living in the 100 block of Rayco Street in southeastern Bemidji.
The escalating trade war with China is about to bite Minnesota consumers. One industry facing tariffs on Chinese-made products are bike shops.
Starting Monday, bike parts and accessories from China will be assessed at 10% duty, and they'll go up again January 1st. As Bill Hudson explains, it's a real dilemma for bike shop dealers. Do they pass on the price hike or let it eat into their profits?
From casual rides to everyday wheels, the bicycle industry is experiencing rapid innovation and growth.
For us, that's definitely where we're at.
And Cycle's Chris Scogan knows the industry depends on imports. With the exception of higher-end custom bikes, the majority of frames and component parts come from China.
It is uncharted territory. Obviously, we don't want to pass expenses or costs onto the customer if we don't have to.
President Trump's ammunition in this trade war is tariffs. Starting Monday, bikes, parts, and accessories from China will be slapped with a 10% duty. Retailers are reluctant to pass that hike on to consumers.
We're trying to work hard with our vendors to get them to share a little bit of the pain, but so far it's yet to be determined.
But the fast-growing e-bike sector has already seen increases due to earlier tariffs slapped on Chinese electronics.
We saw the price increase on the GPS units and computers and stuff earlier this summer. It's just, you never know what's going to happen when you open the newspaper. One day your product's going to cost more. It's kind of crazy.
And where this all heads is anyone's guess. You might want to buy that new bike soon, because tariffs jumped to 25% January 1st. Bill Hudson, WCCO 4 News.
As Bill reported, the tariffs will jump to 25% on January 1st.
2 workers at a manufacturing plant in southeast Minneapolis are recovering from injuries after an explosion this afternoon. The blast and fire broke out at MetalMatic Incorporated, a company that makes carbon steel tubes. The injuries were described as being significant. Everyone else inside the building was able to safely evacuate. Investigators say the explosion apparently happened in one of the dust collectors, although the exact cause has not been determined.
Minnesota's Supreme Court has upheld a lower court decision to release a serial rapist. Thomas Ray Duvall's conditional release was approved in January by a state appeals court panel, but was questioned by the Department of Human Services commissioner, who said she had grave concerns about allowing one of the state's most violent sex offenders out of the program. Duvall has spent the last 30 years locked up for several violent rapes of teen girls between the 1970s and 1980s. The Department of Human Services says they're not at liberty to say where Duvall will be placed, but they will have to notify local police in that community, and then police will notify local residents.
Later on Valley News Live at 10, now it's Delta's turn. The airline has quietly raised the prices of the first and second checked bags. Find out how much more you'll be paying.
It was another beautiful sunset across the valley heading into our evening. It does look like we'll see those clouds producing some significant rain in the day tomorrow. We'll have details in your hour-by-hour forecast coming up right after this.